So here's something that I haven't been able to talk with you yet, Blake. And by the way, if you're just joining us, Blake Guinn with Keller Williams. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home, Blake is the man for so many different reasons. Number one, he's lived here his whole life. I don't understand these people that want to hire a real estate person. I won't mention any names, but and they just moved here like 6 months ago. It makes absolutely no sense. Blake has been here his entire life. There are people out there that are saying that the market is going to crash. Yeah. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Number one, is that true? And number two, what should people do about it?
Well, so here's the main problem with social media. Social media is you get these blowhards within our real estate industry. One of those people just was recently mentioned in an article in the RJ. I'm not going to drop names, but he's a blowhard. Whatever way, which way the wind is going to blow on social media as he goes. So for him, the market is going to crash. We don't see that at Willow Manor, our real estate team, especially here locally in Las Vegas. Right now, interest rates are kind of staying stable and they're kind of going up just a little bit. But inventory and the demand to purchase in this great valley is what's keeping the market stable. Mm-hmm. So right now, yes, we're on low inventory. Yes, interest rates are stable, but there's no indicators that right now that the market is going to crash. The only way that we foresee that the market could crash is that if the feds decide to raise the interest rates over 8% and hold it for a majority of time. What that would do nationwide would literally crash the entire real estate market if that happened, because then homes would become unaffordable. They won't do that because they understand what would happen.
Interesting. Now, it's so interesting to me that, we go back every couple years and the market constantly is changing, right? Yep. I feel like and you correct me if I'm wrong because this is your expertise. Right now, it's probably a little cheaper to buy a home than maybe it was a couple of years ago. But then, you go a year down the road, prices could spike again. It seems like they're on the rise. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm going to touch on this two things.
Okay.
One, I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Josh Selleck. He works for a home builder. He's following me right now on Instagram Live. If you're looking to purchase, there's two routes, right? There is the traditional resale, which you're getting a home. It's probably got an established backyard, and you're probably going to have to do some upgrades and everything, right? And then the other route is what I think right now is, if you're looking long-term, is going new construction. And you can have a realtor represent you while you're doing those negotiations. It doesn't cost you a thing to have representation when you're dealing with a new home builder. Right now, if you're looking to purchase, new home builders nationwide went out and bought bulk down rates. So right now, the average, let's say interest rate is anywhere from 6.8 to 7.5. Home builders are down in the low fives. So if you're looking at interest rates versus payments, new home construction is probably the route to go. They're giving fantastic incentives right now. You're getting $30,000 in closing costs. You're getting appliances. Now, the pros versus cons on new construction is you're going to have to put a lot more money down. Right? You're going to have to put half your money down for upgrades. You got to put in blinds. You've got to do more appliances. You've got to do your yard. So those are the two routes. If you're buying, new construction is a really, really good avenue right now. Yeah. I also had this conversation with my sister right now. I've got twin sisters, and they're talking about possibly going out and renting. They are 26, 27 years old, still live at home. God bless them. They're talking about going out and renting. They're like, well, the only problem with renting is that every year they'll start increasing your rent. I go, well, a lot of people right now, I think it's 60 or 70% of Americans right now, if they had an emergency, don't have $500 spare in their savings account to cover an expense. Let's say you need new tires or dental work or an emergency surgery, whatever it is, majority of Americans can't cover that. So for majority of Americans, I would say, is right now the right time to purchase. It really depends upon your situation, because a lot of people cannot afford that down payment right now. So renting in the short term is probably a better opportunity for them in the long run.
And see, that's the advice that you gave my parents, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. They were thinking of buying or selling a house. They gave you a call. You gave them great advice, and they signed a 1-year contract in a 55 and over community. And I told them, as I think you did as well, I was like, listen, just take the year, see where you're at a year from now, and then see where the market is, right? There's no reason to rush, right, when it comes to this stuff.
It's for some people, let's just say a majority of people, buying or selling is going to be the largest financial decision that they're ever going to make. Right? If you had bought, say, right after the market crash, let's say, Brian, you had bought in 2012, a home that you probably got for $120,000 is probably now valued $600,000. So you really only owe probably now $50,000. I mean, you've got $500,000 in equity in that house. I mean, that's what those people have been doing. And so, yeah, renting is a fantastic opportunity because, again, unless you can qualify for some of the first-time home buyer programs or down payment assistance programs, getting, $10,000 to $20,000 together is really tough for people, especially right now in this economy.
Yeah. And if you're just joining us, he is Blake Guinn, Keller Williams. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home, give him a call, 702-540-3311. And I know you have a special that you would be giving to Pushing the Limits listeners. So why don't you tell people about that?
I do. So again, Blake Guinn, I'm with Willow Manor. We're powered by Keller Williams. My phone number is 702-540-3311. Right now for Pushing the Limit listeners, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, doesn't matter. If you buy or sell and you close with us, I'm giving $1,000 cash back in your pocket, and you guys can use that to help buy appliances, blinds, help with your yard, whatever it is that you guys need to.
I like it. For me, it'd be paying for maids because I'm very messy. I don't clean up after myself, so it's a problem I have.
Right. That's my kids.
It's an issue. Yeah, I'm like your kids. Yeah, Dad, you wouldn't like me as your son. I'll tell you that right now. I'm a pretty messy guy. But so what are you doing? What do you do? And I'm curious. You've lived in Vegas your whole life. Like, what do you do as far as just a night out? Like, do you still have date night with your wife? Do you even have time for that anymore?
Well, before my wife and I had kids, we had the most amazing date life. What we would do is every single Friday night, we'd go to a new restaurant.
Yep.
And what we found out was that the rehabilitation of downtown Fremont is where a majority of the best restaurants are. And so when we do get a break, we like to go down there. I find that's where some of the best young chefs are, like Carson's Kitchen and, some of those places. Now with 2 kids, it gets a little difficult. We spend the weekends with the parents. And as you know, one of my favorite things to do is golfing. And so hopefully by November, we can get back out there.
I'd love to do that.
I've got a fantastic daddy golf group. We try to get out every single week. Well, before the injury, but really, it's spending time with the kids. I take the kids to gymnastics. My daughter, she starts at a new private school this upcoming week, and so now I'm starting to get involved within that community. One of my favorite things that I do is I am now the fundraising chair of the Red Shoe Society, which did the poker tournament.
Right.
So we help raise money for the Ronald McDonald House and the sick children. And so
That's cool.
Those are one of my deep passions, is helping and being within the community and helping each other.
I love that, man. And any charity events that you got coming up, we'll gladly promote, and I will certainly be a part of. It was fun going to your poker tournament at Red Rock months back, and I look forward to doing that again. Well, Blake, it's always a pleasure, my man. Thanks for coming in, as always.
That went by quick.
It does. The hour goes by fast when you're having fun. Hopefully Anthony Weiner feels the same way. But anyway, Blake, thanks again, my man. You're a good friend, and thanks for your support of what we're doing here. And if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, please support my sponsors. And Blake Guinn is one of them, and he's a good friend, and he does a great job over there at Keller Williams. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Blake, I hope you'll be listening tomorrow because a very special, beautiful guest is going to be joining us in studio.